Joanna. Welcome to your slow flow practice. For this class, we're going to be using a block, and if there's any other props that you like in your practice, of course you can keep those nearby. So we're going to start in a seated position today. That might be cross-legged or kneeling. I tend to prefer kneeling, and usually a bit of support can be nice here. So maybe throwing that block just underneath you to give you a bit of a lift. And we are going to be seated for the first few minutes of class, so know that you can always move. You don't need to stay stuck here. It's totally okay if you want to change up your seated position. And so we're going to start just settling here, finding your own comfortable seated position. It doesn't need to look like your traditional yoga seated. Just a nice place where you feel you can breathe with ease. If the spine wants to round for the first few minutes of our practice, that's okay. Just meet yourself where you're at. Let yourself settle here. Give yourself permission to let go of anything that happened before class, any plans for later, or any lingering to-do list. You've set aside this time to practice. You've planned for it, you've prepared. Everything else can wait. Just here for yourself. Some time to breathe and care for your body. You might allow your shoulders to get heavy, maybe hips and legs too. And see if the face could soften. Maybe the eyes want to gaze down or close. Maybe even inviting the belly and the chest to find a little softness. And for these first few moments, there's absolutely nothing to do, nothing to change or fix. Just let yourself land. See if you can feel the body breathing. No need to change the breath. Just sending your awareness there. Maybe notice how the breath is. Maybe it's shallow or deep. Maybe it's quite clear. Maybe we can't feel it much at all. I'll invite you to breathe through the nose for our practice today. It can be harder than it seems. When things can get difficult, we can start to breathe through the mouth. So try to stay mindful of breathing through the nose. It just helps to slow the breath down and helps to keep us mindful and aware too. And sometimes after just a few moments of watching the breath, it starts to slow down and smooth out naturally. You might start to kind of watch the path of the breath. The inhales move in through the nose, down the throat, expanding the lungs, the ribs, all the way to the belly. And as you breathe out, everything softens back into center. See if you could watch that breath. Inhaling, the lungs expand, pressing the rib cage outwards in all directions. The belly expands too. And as you breathe out, feeling that softness, that gentle contraction. And as we start to add some more movement into our practice tonight, try to let your breath be the number one thing. Allow your movements to follow your breath rather than the other way around. And when you're ready, we'll inhale and reach the arms up. And when your exhale arrives, use it to twist over towards the right side. Allow your arms to be soft here, maybe palms facing up. And see if you could use your inhale to lengthen the spine, crown of the head reaches up. And your exhale could twist you a little deeper. Maybe you start to bring the chin over towards the right side as well. And we'll take another breath here. Inhale to find length and space. Exhale, move yourself a little deeper. Your next breath in could unravel you back to center, reaching the arms up. And your exhale could let you twist to the other side. So again, try not to use the arms here to kind of crank yourself deeper. Try to use your breath and your core here. Inhaling, expanding, creating space. Exhales to move into that space. Maybe closing the eyes, feeling this from the inside out. Collarbones wide. One more inhale here. Exhale. And take the length of your breath in to reach both arms up. As you breathe out, reach your right fingertips down towards the ground. Keep both sit bones nice and heavy, and with your inhale, reach the left fingers up. You might find enough side stretching here, a lot of space being created along the left side. If you wanted to deepen that, you could start to lean over towards the right, still keeping both sit bones heavy. Option to kind of look up towards the ceiling, collarbones nice and wide still. And then with your exhale, drop the left hand down to the ground in front of you. Crawl your right arm over top until your left hand lands beside your body on the left side, and your right arm could reach up towards the ceiling. Same thing, maybe you're finding enough sensation along the right side body here. If you want to deepen this, then you could start to bend over towards the left. Keep rooting down nice and heavy through your hips. That grounding can really help here. And then when you're ready, we're going to do that same thing. We're going to crawl our hands in front of us until we land in that side bend on the right side. And we're going to do that a few more times. And we're going to start to make this more about the crawl than that side bend. So see here, maybe it feels good to walk the hands way out in front of you. Maybe you find a bit of opening through the spine. Maybe it feels good as you cross the arms and you can stay and wiggle there. Get really creative about this movement. Make it more about how you're getting from side to side than about that final destination of the pose. Feel all the different textures under your hands, all the different little movements your spine does to adjust. And you could even crawl your hands back behind you, side to side. I invite you to close your eyes, take your eyes off of the screen, and just feel this movement. And we'll take about another 2 breaths here, doing whatever you're doing. And then eventually we'll all meet seated again. So maybe notice if you're able to sit up a little taller now. Feel a little more ease in the spine. Maybe the breath can be a little fuller now that we've kind of opened through the rib cage. And when you're ready, we're going to make our way through a tabletop into our downward facing dog. And so your hands and feet are a nice distance apart. You can start with the knees bent if you'd like, maybe pedaling out the feet, maybe wiggling the hips side to side, just kind of dancing it out. Being sure to root down through the index finger and thumb. Whatever feels good here. And then we're slowly going to walk the feet up towards the hands. And find the feet about a hip's distance apart and let yourself just melt here into an easy forward fold, big bend in the knees. Let the head go, let your skull be heavy. May feel good to rock a little side to side. You could even interlace hands behind your back and let them come forward. We'll take one more inhale here. Exhale 2. Press through the feet to roll your spine up to standing. And once you're standing, take a moment to get used to standing, pressing the feet down into the ground. Actively pressing through the knuckles of the big toe, pinky toe, and the heel. You could even imagine your inner arches of your feet lifting, rooting down through the feet to rise up. Maybe you're able to stand a little taller here. Crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling, shoulders draw down. You might even find the most gentle drawing in of the lower abdomen towards the spine. It doesn't really look like we're doing much, but with all that activation, we can really be putting in some work here. Really press down through the feet. We're going to flow through a few sun salves here. So with your own breath, inhale, reach the arms up. Maybe your eyes follow the hands. As you breathe out, you could hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, bringing the hands to shins or thighs, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale to plant your hands, step back. Now you could either move through a cat-cow here, or lower the knees. Exhale to lower all the way down. Inhale, pressing into the tops of the feet. Draw your face and chest and shoulders up off the earth. As you exhale, tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Find that downward facing dog. You could always take Balasana, child's pose here instead. The most important thing here is that you can still breathe with ease. When you're ready, With your next inhale, we'll reach the creases of the hips up and back. As you exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, keep pressing through the feet. Rise up nice and tall. Maybe this time you keep watching your hands, or you could close your eyes and feel this movement out. Inhale to reach. Exhale to hinge and fold. Inhale, unraveling the spine halfway, long flat back. Exhale to plant the palms, step back. You can keep the knees up or down, it's up to you. Lower all the way down with your exhale. Inhale, finding cobra. Maybe you can get light on the hands here. Exhale, find your downward facing dog or your balasana, child's pose. And take a few slow breaths wherever you are. When you're ready, use your inhale to reach the creases of the hips up and back. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press through the feet to rise all the way up. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do one more. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold down. Inhale, hands to shins or thighs, halfway lift. Exhale to your plank pose. Take an inhale there. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower yourself down onto the belly. And we're going to stay here. So press your feet down into the earth. You'll feel your kneecaps rise up. And use your inhale to lift the head, the shoulders, the chest up off the earth. Try not to use the strength of your hands here. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, maybe drop one cheek to the mat. Let the body soften. And then we'll try another one. Press through the tops of the feet. Legs are active. Inhale to come up, hovering the chest up. Try to gaze down or just towards the top of your mat. And try to draw your shoulder blades together behind your back. You might find your hands want to lift here. A lot of work in the back body. Take one more breath in through the nose and out. And slowly lower the opposite cheek down. We'll do one more of those. Legs are active and strong. Draw your chest up off the earth. Hover the hands. Maybe you even interlace hands behind your back. Maybe your feet even hover too. Try to keep the shoulders moving together behind the back, down and away from the ears. Keep breathing that slow and steady breath. Maybe it's a little shaky, maybe it's a little warm, that's okay. Keep holding. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it all down. Ha. You can shake out the hips here, whatever you'd like. Maybe even windshield wiper the feet a little side to side. When you're ready, we'll make our way to our downward facing dog. Paddle out the feet. Maybe this down dog feels a little different than the last ones. Nice strong back here. Keep pressing, rooting down through index finger and thumb. Find one breath in stillness here. Inhale to reach your hips up and back. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Walk, step, or hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press, press, press. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And stay here and breathe. So you're going to keep pressing through the feet. Feel all that activation and strength in the legs. And then what happens if you lean a little to the left? Your right foot gets light. And maybe it can hover. And just see if you could leave it hovering there for a second. Maybe letting your eyes rest on one point. That tends to help with balance. And then see here if you could so slowly take a big step back with that right foot. You can always tap the toes down. And then you're going to land with the ball of the right foot down. The heel is lifted. So we're in this nice lunge. You might need to walk your front foot out to the side a little bit, kind of widen your stance. And stay here. Press through the feet. Feel how that kind of turns the legs on. The whole back of the right leg is on. You could think of your inner thighs kind of scissoring towards each other. Maybe you inhale and reach the arms up. Keep your low ribs drawing in. Great. Now from here, you might choose to bring your hands back to heart center. Tilt yourself forward, 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 until you get kind of heavy in that left foot, and maybe your right toes get a little light. See if you could step or slowly float your right leg in front of you. So you're standing here, right knee is lifted. Finding that balance once more. With your inhale, tilt yourself forward, reach your right leg back, warrior 3. Now you could always turn this into that lunge if you prefer. Stay here, draw your shoulder blades together behind your back, just like we did in that cobra pose earlier. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, rise back up to stand, right knee in front of you. Ooh. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, reach back, warrior 3, or you find your lunge. Exhale, knee comes forward, standing on the left leg. One more, warrior 3. Exhale, standing on the left leg. Try to hold it here. One more breath. So slowly it doesn't even make a sound, plant that right foot. Doesn't it feel good to have both feet on the ground? You can stay here. Maybe you shake out the hands, shake out the leg. And when you're ready, we'll find that samastitihi, our equal standing pose, once more. Hands could be in front or they could rest on your hips, whatever feels better in your body. And then start to lean to the right so much that you could hover the left foot. And stay here as you find your balance. Balance always changes every day. And if you fall out of it, that's part of the fun. Just hop back into it when you can. And from here, take that slow step back and just lightly plant the left toes until you can land in your lunge with your right foot forward. Nice bend in that right leg. Press through the feet to feel the legs strengthen. Find that heat in the legs. Hands could come to heart center. And breathe. If your balance has been really great this whole time, maybe you try this with the eyes closed. You could inhale, reach the arms up. We'll take another breath here. And hands come to heart center. Start to lean forward, forward, forward. Light on the left toes. Until you come up to standing. Reaching the left knee forward. Then we'll find that warrior three. We're going to stay here in this warrior three. Know that you could always tap this down and come into your lunge if you prefer. Reach out through the heel of the left foot. Crown of the head reaches forward, one long line. Draw your shoulder blades together behind your back. And feel all that strength in the body. So maybe not necessarily building strength, but feeling the strength that's already there. Then when you're ready, come on up, hover the left knee. Reach back, warrior three. Let's do two more on this side. Find your breath, find your rhythm. And maybe just for fun, let's hang out here in this warrior three. Keep breathing, you got this, a little bit of extra. And slower than you want to, bring the knee back up and quietly plant it down. Ooh. Shake that out, let it go. Sometimes it helps to take a big breath in, reach the arms up, and let it go. You could do two more. Last one, extra big. Let it go. And you could hang out here in this forward fold, maybe shifting side to side. Great. Then we're just going to crawl our hands down, make our way through a table, and find our balasana, child's pose. And take a few breaths here. This grounding pose can be really nice. After all that kind of upward lifting, all that balancing, feeling the stability of the floor beneath you can be really nice. And take one more breath here. And we'll inhale to come up to our tabletop. We're going to slide the right knee towards the right wrist and set up for our pigeon here. And so if you want, you can play with bringing your right shin more parallel with the top edge of the mat, or you can keep it on a nice angle here. Always an option to add that block under your right hip. And you could stay up if you prefer, or start to bring the forearms down onto the ground, letting your head go. If this doesn't feel good on the knee, you can always spin around, lean back into your hands, and bring your right ankle over your left knee, reaching the heart up. So same benefits, just a little less pressure on the knee. And we'll just take about 4 more breaths here. Notice how breathing in pigeon is so different than breathing in those more active poses. And when you're ready, come on out. We'll just switch out the legs. So sliding the left knee towards the left wrist. Maybe reaching back a little bit with that right leg. Option 2, bring your shin a little more parallel with the top edge of the mat, or find that figure 4 variation. And just letting the body go here. Let gravity do the work. Let's take about another 3 breaths here. And when you're ready, maybe on this side you just lean over to the left and swing your right leg around. Sometimes it feels good to give the legs a good squeeze in after that. And then we're going to make our way down onto our backs, keeping the knees bent and the feet on the floor. Give yourself a moment here. Again, feeling the floor beneath you. And then we're going to use the block for this one. We're going to press into the feet like we've been doing all of class. This time we're going to lift the hips and slide the block on either the lowest or medium height underneath your sacrum, so that triangular bone, the low back. And this isn't really a back bend. We're trying to keep the hips kind of neutral, just giving them a bit of a lift. And this is our supported bridge pose. Really nice, gentle inversion. You might even walk the shoulders in a little behind you. And just breathe here. Notice if the face feels a little different. We've kind of shifted the weight. When you're ready, take one last breath in. As you exhale, press into your feet, lift the hips, slide the prop away, and roll your spine down. It might feel good to hug the legs in here. Give them a good squeeze in. And we'll bring both the knees together and drop them over towards the right side, finding your twist. Maybe your arms reach out to the side and your gaze is over the left shoulder. And see if you could feel the breath all the way into your lower abdomen here. It can be a little tricky to breathe deeply and twist, so it's even more important to be really mindful. Let the breath maybe flow a little more into the left side lung. We're going to take this unravel as slow as you can possibly go. Feel as your spine starts to make contact with the earth. The back of your hips eventually land down, and we're just going to let the knees fall over to the opposite side here. Arms could stay reaching out. Maybe you gaze over towards the opposite hand. And keep breathing. Once more, watching the path of the breath. When you're ready, come back to center. Again, find that slow unravel. When you're ready, you can drop the feet down. I'm setting up for our Shavasana here. You can lay on your side or your back, wherever feels restful and comfortable to you. We're just going to do 3 rounds of our square breath before we settle into a few moments of stillness here. And so for our square breath, we breathe in, we hold, we breathe out, and we pause, all for a count of 4. So start with your own breath in and your own breath out. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Let your breath return to its natural pace and rhythm. Maybe noticing how good it feels to breathe on your own pace. Just spending the last few moments in stillness here, letting your body absorb all the hard work you've done. Whenever you're ready, we could do our closing. If you're really enjoying your rest, maybe you just turn off this video now and stay here. If you prefer a more traditional seated closing, then I'll invite you to stretch and wiggle and wake up. Lazily roll to one side. And come up to your comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to your heart any way that's meaningful to you. See if you could feel your heartbeat in your hands. Send gratitude to your heart for beating, and to your body for all it does for you day in and day out. And sending gratitude to those who came before us, who passed this practice down to us. And most importantly, sending gratitude to yourself for carving out this time in your day to practice. Thank you.